Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Get To It Home Tips and Tricks. Today we're going to be talking about tape measures, and so we're going to talk about the different types. We're going to be talking about how to use them and how to handle the fractions as far as adding and dividing fractions here. So stick with us and let's get to it. Okay guys, I'm going to show you some of just the varieties of tape measures. You see we got quite a selection here. This is just an off-brand 33 foot tape. They all come in a lot of variety of sizes. You can see on this one, we get up there kind of focused. This is actually has the graduations on the lines. May help you as a beginner, but you don't, and we may use this one or one like it to get started. But you don't want to get too dependent on it, because something happens and you lose the one you're dependent on, and the next one doesn't have those graduations on there, then you're kind of having a mess. So use it to learn with, but then kind of get used to it. This is a pretty standard one. You see it just got the lines. It doesn't have you know, the fractions and stuff written on them. So we're going to teach you about that. This is a pretty popular one. This is a Stanley, we call it Max Steel, and that has to do with the blade. This is Lufkin. If you're not familiar with Lufkin tools, Lufkin makes a lot of machinist tools and measurement tools, so Lufkin's a really good brand also. This is a good old Harbor Freight Pittsburgh tool. It's 25 foot, and you can see this one also has the graduations on the bottom written out for you. So I think this one may be the one we use to learn off of, so you can see the difference. This is just a 12 foot Stanley tape, you know, got a little belt clip on it. This is great if you're not doing long measurements and stuff, you know, to have on your belt, because it doesn't pull you down as much. This is another little Lufkin tape measure, just a little 8 foot tape measure. It doesn't have a belt clip. It's just made to keep in your pocket, you know, if you maybe doing some quality control stuff and you just want to walk around and take a few measurements now and then. And then this is a 100 foot tape, also made by Stanley. The difference in this one, it's not spring loaded. You just pull it out how far you want it, because you'd have to have a heck of a spring in there to rewind a 100 foot tape. And you see it's just got the graduations on there. And then this one, to bring it back in, it's just got this wind up on the end where you just wind it back up. That's good if you're, you know, taking really long measurements to have around. This is more like a little novelty outfit. You know, it's just a little short, small tape measure. Easy to hold in your pocket. But if this kind of looks familiar to you, if any of you are familiar with Zippo cigarette lighters, you'll notice that kind of looks like one of their cigarette lighters. And if you look on the bottom, you'll see it says Zippo, so that's something they put out probably as a promotional item or a novelty item, you know. So now this, I want to show you this. This is not a tape measure, but this is the prelude to tape measures. Up to about the 1940s, this is what all carpenters and others used. You know, you can see it's got the graduations and it just folds out. It just keeps folding out, you know, till you get, you know, as much as you need. This is a little higher end model. It's got on the end here, if you're up against a wall and you need to make a little bit more measurement to it, you can slide that out and get the graduation off of there and add that to the rest of your ruler. So that was a little improved model. This is what I actually grew up with, what my daddy had. I don't remember having a tape measure till probably I was almost grown, you know. So this is pretty standard up to about 1940s. Tape measures was actually first patent on them, I think, was around the 1860s, but they never did really catch on as a regular tool till about the 1940s. So just give you a little history there. So what we're going to talk about the different features on the tape measures, and first we're going to talk about the bodies on them, but I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit more so we can get a little bit closer view of what we're doing. So just hang on. Okay guys, we're going to use this Lufkin tape right now, but things I want to show you is the cases. Most of them, bigger ones have belt clips, where you keep them on your belt so you can keep up with them. This is a 1-inch blade. Just talking about, the width here, which is with these bigger ones. That's what it is. And the reason for them is so you see the blade is curved. It helps to keep it from folding, and you can just bring it out further and further. Let's see how far we can probably get out about 7 or 8 feet before this one folds up or buckles. Let's see, that's 6 feet, about to 7 feet. There's 8 feet, and this is going to get way on out there. Yep, there we go, about 8, 9 feet. It starts to fold up like that. So really helps, about reaching out and getting measurements instead of having to walk over and hook to them. The thing on the cases, a lot of the cases have standard widths here, and if they do, they're usually marked on the back. I don't know if you can read that, if I can get it focused in there. This one's 3.5 inches, so if you were measuring something and you pulled your tape out, like measuring from wall to wall, and you pull it up there, instead of having to turn around and get another measurement, add them, pull it up there and just add 3.5 inches to whatever you've got right here at the edge, so that's pretty handy to know. And the other thing, they've all got, all of them, the other bigger ones, have got a lock here where you can lock them, when you go out, so you can get your measurement without going back in all the time. Some of them, let's see, in one of these, some of them even have a button here on the backs, bottom, so when you pull it out, you can push that button and it'll hold it in, and then you can just let it off when you get ready. So, and then it also has a lock on it. So, getting to the blade, we were talking about it being curved. I want to start at the end of the blade here and show you things here. You notice this moves back and forth a little bit there, moves on those rivets. It's not broken. There's nothing wrong with it. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. You can see right here, and so you can get it focused there, where you can see the little gap that goes back. It's about 1/16 of an inch. And the purpose for that is when you hook over something, it's going to pull it out, and it's going to make up the difference for this blade right here. So this is actually going to be the measurement from here back that way. When you butt up against it, you got to allow for the thickness of the blade, so you're going to push back in, and then that's going to give you, make up for that little 1/16 of an inch. So I've seen people that thought those were broke. They'd turn them over and they'd hammer those rivets down to where it wouldn't move. Well, then they didn't get accurate measurements, So the little feature on the end of that blade is you can see it has a little slot in it, and what that's for, if you were measuring and didn't have a helper, you could put you a nail there, and this will hook. Let's see if I can get a better angle right there. That will hook right into your head of your nail, and then you can just pull it, pull it on out, and then it, help you hold it. So that's a pretty handy little thing that they've come up with. Okay, I think this is about as close as I can get and still stay in focus for you. But you'll see right here, we've got our different graduations here. The first one you got here is 1/8. You notice the one in between it's not marked. States that's a 16th, so it takes 2/16 to make up 1/8 of an inch. So you've got 1/8 marked, 1/4, 3/8, a half, and then you get past a half, you go back to 5/8, 3/4, 7/8, and then your next full mark, and then in between that you've got a 16th mark. So if you look up here, you can see your marks and kind of learn them the same way. There's that second longest one's your 1/8, and you come over here and you got a 1/4, and you come up here to your half, and then your 3/4, and your whole there. So it's pretty easy to read. So get used to those, but get used to reading them without those marks, without the actual fractions down here. So if you were to, if you had a tape measure like this and you lost it, or you left it at home, had to borrow another when you got to work, and it didn't have those graduations on there, then you would be really really in a pickle. So use this one to learn or one like it, and you know, when you can, you know, start using one without it, because it's going to catch you one of these days without the right one. So now, the importance of learning to read a tape measure. Nearly any kind of construction job, factory job, one of the first things they're going to ask you in your job interview is, can you read a tape measure? That's really important to them, because if you can read it, then that's one less thing they've got to train you to do. So, so it's really important that you learn it. If you also, this video is really important to you. If you're here from another country, from, you know, Spanish-speaking country, Canada, you know, Europe, anywhere, we're the only country that uses fractions. Everybody else uses metric system, so it's going to take you a little while to get used to the standard system, but this is going to help you a lot. So, so now I want to show you some. I'm going to back the camera back up, and I want to show you some other graduations on the tape measure. So hang on. Now, one of the things, a couple of other things I want to show you here is that they've really added features on these tape measures to help you out when you're working. If you'll notice the foot markings, when you get up, you know, to the 12 inches, makes up your foot, then it actually marks it for your foot there. And then you notice when you go past the foot, you're still reading, you get 11, 12 inches, 13, 14, but up here, then it helps you out. It goes 1 foot, and it starts over and gives you the 12, you know, inch markings again, right along to get 24 feet. And you see every 24 feet, you know, every foot, every 24 inches, every foot, you've got a new marking there. Now, you'll notice this red marking here on 16 inches, and then you see it up here again at 32 inches, and, you know, so on, you know, all the way up your scale. The reason for that is if you're building houses, your walls in most states require the studs to be 16 inches apart. So to help you, so you don't have to, you know, keep measuring when you're laying out the studs, they're 16 inches. That's one stud, and that's the center. That's the center now. It's not the edge of it, but the center of that stud is 16 inches, and you go on up your tape and you lay out your other ones and so on. So, so that's really helpful when you're doing, you know, especially construction work. I'm going to show you another measure. You'll see this little black diamond right here. You see if I can get it up there where it focus good on you. A little black diamond dot. Your floor joists, the requirements on those are 19.2 inches, which is almost a quarter, but not quite. That's the distance on centers for your floor joists. And so you'll see that diamond there is at 19 inches, 19.2 inches. And if you're going up here a little ways, you'll see the other dot is 38.4 inches. So that helps you to lay out your floor joist. So those are really helpful on tape measure. And so get used to them, get used to using them, and you'll be a lot quicker on your job and make your boss a lot happier. Okay guys, let's talk a little bit about the fractions, and that's what the 1/8, 1/16, 3/4, that's what they are. They're fractions. So give you kind of idea. This, you know, start off with something simple, but I want to give you the names of the numbers on the fractions. Don't worry much about this. This will just confuse you. You probably had them in school at some time or another. I didn't understand them at school because they kind of made it complicated, because they wanted to do all this, the math, you know, out on paper. Nothing wrong with that, learning. Anything you can learn is of value to you. So this top number, we're using 3/4 as an example here. This top number is your numerator. Bottom number is your denominator. The little line through the middle doesn't really have a name. Some people call it a fraction line, but it doesn't really have a name, and it's always going to be the same. You may see it like over down here at a slant. It doesn't mean anything. It's all the same exact thing, you know. So some people put them in a slant. Some people don't put them that way. I tend to put them at a slant just so it doesn't look like you know, something else. But either way is correct. You know, just whatever you get used to. Now you'll see these little um, marks here. Usually when they're talking about anything in inches, like even a fraction, 3/4 of an inch, 10 inches, they're going to have the double marks. They're talking about feet, you're going to have a mark like this. So just kind of help you to know those if you don't already know them. Now we're going to talk about reducing the fractions here. So I'm going to move the camera there just a little bit and remove our sheet here a little bit there. Your fractions are always going to have to be odd numbers at the top to be proper fractions. And so a lot of times when you're adding things together, maybe you had you had to separate some stuff and add it up, and you had two different fractions, and when you added them up, the 16ths, you had 12 16ths. So this number can't be an even number. It always has to be an odd number. So what we got to do, we got to reduce this back down till we get this an even number. So what you want to do is call a common denominator, find a number that'll divide into this even and divide into that even. So so we know if we divide 3 into let's see, if we divide 4 into 12, that's going to give us a 3. So we're going to change that there, and 4 is our common denominator here. So we're going to change our top number to a 3, and then we're going to divide 4 into 16, which is going to give us 4. So 12 16ths is equal to 3/4 of an inch. So it's really easy to do, to reduce them like that. All you have to do is just find a common number that'll go into those, and they're not big numbers, so it's pretty easy to do. Another thing we want to do is we want to learn how to divide fractions. So say let's just use this 3/4 since we're already using it. If we wanted to find out what half of 3/4 is, all you got to do is double this bottom number right here, and it works out no matter what you're using. Leave the number at the top, and half of 3/4 is 3/8. So if you had 3/16, excuse my bad handwriting, and you wanted to divide it in half, just double that bottom number. Excuse me. Double that bottom number to 30 seconds. I'm sorry, I can't write either. To 30 seconds, and leave your top number the same. Be 30 seconds. And it doesn't matter what fraction you use, as long as it's in a proper form. Let's say we got 7/8, and you want to convert it down to you want to divide it in half. So all we do is just double the bottom number, 16th, 7/16. That's so easy. You get that in your mind. And when you're adding fractions, say you were going to get this back up here and turn our sheet around here. If you're going to add fractions, so you took two different measurements, and let's say you had a inch and 3/4. We'll use the same figure, just keep it simple. And you had to add an inch and 3/4. What you're going to come up with is you're going to have 2 and 6/4. So we've got to reduce this back down. Remember, to get a common denominator that will divide into that. But what we've got here is we've got a higher number than we got there. So what we've got to do, we're going to take this and we're going to take, I'll make a whole number out of it. So 4/4 will make an inch, and that leaves us 2/4. So, and then we're going to 2/4, and then we'll reduce that down to an odd number up here. So we're going to double this bottom number, and or reduce it, divide it. I'm sorry, I'm going to divide it into 2 will be a common denominator for it. So 2 and 2 It's just going to be 1 time and then 1/4. So what we're going to end up with is we're going to end up with 2, and we're going to end up with another whole number here. So that's going to be 3, and we're going to end up with 3 and 1/4 inches. So practice these. It'll help you. Just keep going over this video. But just remember, one of the most common things you're going to do is divide the fractions or add them, you know. So keep in mind, you know, the adding and subtracting. Practice it, you know, look at some other videos online. There's a lot of good videos for the math and for the measurements too. So don't just go by this one. Study, you know, get as much information as you can. Keep going over this video, and I'll tell you, figure it out. But it's so easy to divide fractions. That's what I used to have so much trouble with in school, because I had to go through all the math. But just, you know, if you got to divide that fraction, just double that bottom number. Don't half it, double it. If you're going to divide it, then you get half of it. So it's pretty simple. I know it's pretty quick. So watch this video several times and get what you can into it. Okay, guys, I want to show you a couple more tricks with tape measures. Some problems you're going to run into. A lot of times, if you're measuring from, say, in between 2 walls or in between doors or something, and you're coming over here and you're bending your tape measure down like that, and you can't decide, you know, within a 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch, and here, you know, what your real measurement is. So I'm going to show you a solution to that. Okay, say we're measuring between this door here, you know, in the same way. When you get up here, your tape's bent, so you can't really tell the distance between them. So what you do is you take your tape and you come up here and pick you out a good spot. We're going to choose, say, 2 feet this time. And we're just going to measure from here to the 2 feet, put a little pencil mark on our 2 feet. Then we're going to turn around and measure from this side over here. So we've got another foot and 3/8 of an inch. So we'll just add those together. So we've got 3 feet and 3/8 of an inch between this door. That way you've got a more accurate figure and you're not off that 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to show you another problem that you'll run into also. Okay, I'll show you another problem we have a lot of times when you're trying to like measure up to a ceiling this way. When you get down so far and your tape falls down on you. Same way if you try to measure from the floor up, you know, you get the same situation we're just talking about. Your tape's curled or you can't see it up there. So the solution is pretty much the same as the door. What we're going to do is we're going to bring our tape up, get us a good mark there. We're going to say we're going to use 4 feet here, and we're going to mark our 4 foot mark. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to measure from the floor up, and we've got 4 feet and 57 and 9/16 of an inch. So we're just going to add those two together to get our height of our door. That way you're not trying to hold it up, you're not trying to bend the tape, you know, to try to read it, and that'll save you a lot of problems when you're doing your measuring. So I hope that helps. Those are some good tricks to really help you out on your job and really make you look a lot more professional too. I hope this helps. You know, keep going over the video till it kind of sticks in your head, but just don't make it complicated. A lot of people say when you're doing a job, KISS it. KISS it stands for keep it simple, stupid. So keep it simple, and then you won't be stupid. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel. It's free. You don't have a YouTube account or a Google account, just go on and sign up, and then give us a thumbs up, subscribe. Subscribe is what's going to keep our videos coming. If you're watching our other videos, we've got multiple other videos already online, and we'll have one coming out at least once a week. So thank you for joining. Like I say, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and check out our other videos. And thank you for watching.